All right, get started here. El Septimo Cigars. We're going to have Zion. Hey, Bernie. Red, get you on here. Remember in Aspen, how's it going? Oh, who wants? How's it
Not
going?
bad. How are you?
Pretty good. Making sure I got
What's up, Herm?
everybody
Hero?
here.
I think I saw the
Bennett,
Godfather,
Skull.
Rain.
Yeah, there we go. I got her now. Lorraine, got the Canadian crowd.
Hello there.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're stuck with
Yeah,
us now.
we're gonna have. Yep, she had fun last time, right?
Yes,
Oh,
I did. Thank you.
I see. There's Zaya
All right,
there.
he's in. Let's get him going. Boom. Here he comes. There
Yeah.
we go.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yes.
Okay, great.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, especially now that I light my cigar, the Emperor Collection King Sargon, which they're only sold into the with the humidor. They're not sold separately. But I gotta send you guys some of this. You guys are gonna love this cigar. I think this is my best, most perfect cigar I ever made.
Wow.
So you guys should try it. Yeah. And these are our new lighters. How about that?
Oh,
We
those are
Look at
designed
that.
these,
cool.
yeah, we designed these with SC DuPont. They have a strong pink.
That's the best part, right?
Right, well,
Yeah,
people like that. And it's got a double, so you
Cool.
basically put your cigars right between the two flames and you flame it out. This is a Van
that's very
Gogh, so it's got a
cool.
painting of Van Gogh in it. So,
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's cool. So it's part of the
yeah,
Sacred Arts collection.
that's part of the Sacred Art Collection. So this show, PCA show, we're going to introduce 20 different design lighters.
Oh,
And
wow.
so be fun. Yeah. Soft flame, torch
Hmm.
flame, different kinds. So you guys are going to love it.
Are you going
And
to have a combination of them? The torch and the
we
soft
do. We have
together?
a lot of different combination of them. Yeah. We have a different combination, both soft flame, jet, and also we have different design combination for people to like. So it's going to like it. Yeah. This is the first time ever that SC DuPont allow a company to put their name on the
Mm-hmm.
product because we designed the whole thing. So it's really nice. I love them.
So
And people love this.
how
That
did
is
you
awesome.
get
Yeah.
into cigars?
How do I what?
How did you get into the cigar industry?
Well, I'm an old man. I'm 60 years old. So I've been smoking cigar for 40 years, since I was 20 years old. And I used to work for GM. I used to be a vice president of automobile division, and I used to report to Jack Smith, which was the chairman of GM. And the first thing he did to me when I did something really good for the company, he says, "I'll take you out for dinner." So I was 20 years old, so I went out with him to dinner. And then he says to me, "Do you smoke cigar?" I said, "No, I've never smoked a cigar in my life." He said, "Well, you will now." So back then, you could smoke in a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. Back
Mm-hmm.
then, you could smoke in the restaurant, you could smoke in an airplane, you could smoke in
Mm-hmm.
hospitals back then,
Yep.
right? So I've been smoking cigar for the past 40 years, started at the age of 20.
So what was that first cigar? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a Monte Cristo cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, Cuban, this is 40 years ago, Cuban used to make good cigars back then, very good cigars back then. And the New World cigars really didn't exist 40 years ago, there was really no good cigar maker in DR or Nicaragua or Ecuador or Honduras. And it all really started evolving in the last 25 years, right? But today, the new world, many people make cigar, I think, far better quality than Cuban and far cheaper than a Cuban cigar. Cuban cigar quality has dropped significantly, especially since China about 65% of them. Suddenly, everything changed overnight.
Yeah.
Ray, how you doing? Yeah, I've noticed
Huh?
they're awfully dry here in Canada, actually.
Well, I think, you know, the importance of cigar starts from soil, right? In order to make a perfect cigar, it really starts with the soil, right? And then it is the seed, and then it's environment, and then it is precision farming. How do you raise that plant in perfect environment? And then it is fermentation, aging, and then it goes released to the people. Cuba naturally have, in some location, not all, better soil than other places. But right now, they're skipping a lot on the fermentation because fermentation takes a long time. They're skipping a lot on aging because aging takes a long time. I mean, this is a country that needs the income from cigar because that's what runs their economy, right? From the time you pick a leaf from the nicotina plant to the closest time that you can make a smokable cigar out of it is 2 years. 2 years. These guys do not want to wait 2 years, right? They invest money into making this nicotina plant, and they harvesting it, and they want to translate it into the money. So in some cases, they use fluorescent light in the industrial type building, using high intensity fluorescent light, high voltage fluorescent light to dry up the tobacco faster.
How did you go from business to acquiring El Septo cigars?
Right.
Mostly big in the European, if people don't know, on the market, and you've really brought them more to the United States?
That's correct. You know, we have an oil refinery division in our company, and we build platform from Saudi Arabia on the Persian Gulf. We build them 55 platforms that they can drill oil in the water. And it was a big project, you know, $1.5 billion project. And when we finished, it was the president of my company. They asked me to have dinner with the King of Saudi Arabia as a, you know, token of appreciation for the big project we finished. So we had a dinner at his palace. And at the end of the dinner, now remember, this is 5 years ago, and I've been smoking cigars for 35 years, right? And at the end of the dinner, they brought a big ashtray. I've never seen that. Huge ashtray full of cigars, right? And all of them had a band 7 on it. Now, I've been around the world. I've smoked everything. I said, what is that? They said, oh, it's a cigar called El Septimo. I said, funny, I never heard about it. They said, well, it's a cigar made only for kings. And one of his administrators said, literally, it's a cigar made for the kings. I said, why is that? He said, is this famous Belgian French guy. He makes his cigars, right? And he used the finest tobacco. He aged them longest than anybody else. And all of his cigars are pre-sold for the royal families for the next 20 years. So you cannot get this cigar unless you're a king. So I didn't discuss it any further, but when I liked that cigar, I was mesmerized 2 hours by the cigar. Matter of fact, it was so good, that night I smoked 3 cigars back to back to 4 a.m. in the morning. Couldn't get the taste out of it. It was amazing, yeah. So couple of weeks later, when I was back in the United States, I found out the company. I called the company, and I said, hi, my name is Zaya Yonan. I want to buy some El Septimo cigar. And she just hung up the phone on me. So I said, well, typical European, right? So I picked up the phone. I called again. I says, ma'am, I'm calling from the United States. I want to buy a couple boxes of El Septimo cigar. She says, are you a king? I says, no, I'm not a king. She hung up the phone on me. So I call it a third time. I says, ma'am, please don't hang up the phone on me. I want you to Google Zaya Yonan. I am somebody, not a king. I am somebody. And I want to pay. I want to buy your product because I love it. May I buy some of your product? She says, no, I heard you the first time, but you're not a king. So we only sell cigar for the king. So because they had a limited production, 50,000 sticks a year only. So they were producing back then only 4,000 sticks a month. So
Wow.
that's equivalent to like nothing. 100 a day is nothing, right? And they didn't have a tobacco to sell it to anybody. And the royal families were paying for these cigars 5 times what they were even valued at, right? So on my next trip in France, I stopped by in Geneva. I met the owner, and I offered him something he couldn't refuse. I bought the company because I love smoking El Septimo. And joking aside, for 5 years, I have not smoked anything else in my lifetime except El Septimo. I'm so hooked on it, I can't smoke anything else. We have 44 different cigar blends, and so every day of the week, I could smoke something new, and it would be an unbelievable experience for me.
Now, 44 blends. I mean, holy cow! How much of that tobacco is coming from the factory where you guys are growing it, Costa Rica, and how much is being purchased for the blends?
That's a good question. That it leads to a technical conversation. What makes the cigar the best? And I want to talk about it because it's something never talked about because there is lack of knowledge and education from cigar makers, right? Most of the cigars in the world are made from tobacco from one region, right? Davidoff used mainly DR. Fonte used DR. Patron Rus, Nicaragua, right? From one region, right? It is difficult to make different blends or the library of the blends of cigars with different flavors when you are using all of your leaf from one region.
Right.
Our main factory assembly plant is in Costa Rica, and we have over 1,000 acres of plantation. But we use only 3 to 4% of our own tobacco. We pick the best leaf, we use those leaves, and the rest of it we sell it in the market.
Right.
And then we go around the world in Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Ecuador, Peru, right? We try to buy the best harvest, best tobacco that is aged most perfectly. Then we bring it back into Costa Rica, right? And then we start blending them. Now, we can blend more different flavors because we're using tobacco from different countries. We are the only company in the world that our average cigar has the tobacco from 5 different regions blended together.
Wow.
So that does 2 things. It gives you more flexibility to create new blends. The cigar becomes more technical, right? Cigar becomes more flavor because the flavor fight with each other. It's like a French wine. It's like French wine versus California wine. California wine, Napa, is a single grapes. French wine is 3-4 different grapes. That's why when you are able to blend them and stabilize them, when you open a bottle, it fights in your mouth and it creates a structure, it creates transition, it creates tremendous amount of flavor in your mouth. And that's exactly what we do with our cigars.
And then when you go to these different, like Dominicans, you go to the different valleys, like Jalapa and, the different ones. Like the one I'm smoking is the Alexandria collection, and I'm getting a lot of floral from it. And it's from, we have certain areas in Nicaragua that are north that have that floral notes to it. So it's not just one area. Because usually if you're in Jalapa, you're getting that volcanic taste, that really, really spicy pepper.
Well, exactly. Well, all of the South America is volcanic, all of it, right? Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Cuba, Costa Rica, all of it is volcanic. That means it didn't exist millions of years ago.
Right.
Some volcanic happened, it exists. Now, in the volcanic soil, why volcanic soil is very famous for harvesting, for raising tobacco, and also many other products, right? Because it came from the rock. When the rock exploded, it created heavy boulder of the rock under the ground. Some of these rocks have magnesium. Some of these rocks have calcium, fiber, right?
Iron.
And many other minerals.
You know,
Some location, like the one you talked about, has a particular stone that it gives this flavor into not only nicotina plant, also if you put fruit plants in it, right?
Coffee.
It gives that flavor in it. Coffee is one of them. Well, coffee and nicotina plant are cousins.
Right.
So they go together very well because they're all nightshade family, right? So what we do, we know which year harvest was the best. For example, in 1998, right? DR had the best harvest because they had the best amount of rain, best amount of sun, best amount of humidity. It just happened to be that year they were producing the best crop in the world, right? So because we are in farming for 30 some years, because we're making wine, we're making cognac, we're making vodka, we make gin, and now we're making cigar. We know the frequency of the best climate everywhere in the world. So what we do, we go to those plantations and we say, look, we buy your green harvest. We buy your green harvest for this amount of time, amount of money. We buy the green harvest and we ferment it, we age it in the high mountain of Costa Rica, where it's tropical forest, is a rainforest. You get minimum of 11 hours of sun every day. You get perfect moisture, humidity. Also because it's high in altitude, flies cannot live there because the air is so thin, so the diseases don't transfer in tobacco easily.
excellent.
So I did notice that you said that you noticed that the 7 was on the cigars, so you kept the 7. But I've noticed in your other ventures, you've also had the number 7. Did you incorporate it because of the cigars, or is there a different meaning with those?
Both. Very good question again. Both. Number one, El Septimo means da 7 in Spanish, right? And 7 is a name we selected. Well, it was selected before me because when I bought the company, it was El Septimo. Because the guy was fascinated with 7 days. It took God. 7 is a very religious number for Christian, Muslim, Jews. Because it took God 7 days to create heaven and earth, right? And also, you have the 7 sense. When you eat something or drink something that is really good for you, you say, oh my God, I feel it in my 7 sense. When you feel something in your 7 sense, then you know you're experiencing something phenomenal, right? Yeah. So 7, El Septimo, means a lot. So after we learned the meaning of it and power of the symbol, we took it, we put our best wine, Cuvée, we put it as the El Septimo. We put our best cognac, El Septimo. And in 3 months, we're going to come up with the vodka that is El Septimo. That is the first vodka in the world that is distilled 12 times. 12 times
wow.
distilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be the smoothest vodka you ever drink.
Yeah.
So we said, you know what?
It's going to be sipping.
Exactly. We said, you know, this El Septimo means so much. The number 7 means so much. And El Septimo now is in 57 countries in the world. And it is in 480 cities around the world. So we said, let's utilize this powerful brand. You know, it's like a Rolls Royce of the industry. Let's utilize it and expand upon it. But you're correct.
Nice.
So what got you into the spirits?
Real quick.
Sorry.
Pardon me?
What got you into the spirits part? Like the cognac and the wine?
Well, we've been making wine for a long time, right? We make wine in Bordeaux, Saint-Emilion region, which is the Grand Cru region. It's the best region in the world for making wine in Saint-Emilion. We've been making wine for many years, and we've been in farming for many years because Yonan company that owns El Septimo has 57 companies in 32 countries with almost 88,000 employees worldwide, right? So,
Wow. Yeah.
so we when we get into cigar, we knew that it matches the closest to our spirit business, because in spirit business you have blender, you have taster, you have farmers, you have aging process, you have fermentation process. Literally, all of the process in making a great cigar is in making a great wine. And by the way, our wine 2 weeks ago won the gold medal in the world.
Oh,
Our Chateau Zaya won the gold medal in the world from the decanter, which is the most respected institution
yes,
for rating.
congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. So it was easy for us. Matter of fact, we learned that we can blend, because in cigar industry is 600 years old, right? Always the tasting on the blending is by tasting them in the mouth, right? When in wine, we do two kinds of analysis: nose analysis and a
Mm-hmm.
mouth analysis. So we have two sets of difference of blenders and cigar makers. One, that they pick the leaf combination strictly based on their nose and they don't smoke. And the other group, that they pick the blending combination strictly to their mouth by smoking it. And then these guys write their profile on a paper. We compare the two profiles together to see where there is a common agreement on the blend. And that would be the blend that we go in production with.
Now, do
Nice.
you ever like suggest some of your wines, or say, okay, we have this cigar, let's make a wine to fit and pair with that cigar?
We
Have
did,
y'all?
we did,
Okay.
we did. Our very good question. We have 3 vineyards in France, Saint-Emilion: Chateau Zaya, Chateau La Croix-Yonan, and Chateau Acumbes. We have over 3,000 acres in these 3 different vineyards, and each has its own factory. So when we picked a special cuvee that we name it El Septimo Red and El Septimo White Wine, which is available on the market today.
Yes.
After the wine was made, normally the way we make it, after it was fermented, after it was aged 6 months in the barrels that we ferment tobacco.
Oh,
Oh,
very good.
And
Very good.
after that, they were bottled. So you taste it, you taste the sugar of tobacco in the blanc, in the white wine. And you taste other spices of tobacco, cinnamon and other spices of tobacco in the red wine. So yes, we had to do that. Otherwise, we couldn't get the two connected together.
So for the folks, that don't see behind the scenes, we're at the brick and mortar buying the cigars. Uh, just to back up a little bit, if you're purchasing the tobacco, do you have a couple guys that are checking out the tobacco before they're purchasing it? They're traveling around, or is it just different areas? You have reps that go and purchase the tobacco. How does
Now,
that work?
selecting a good tobacco, is literally like a guy who buys diamonds, that he checks each diamond, right? Initially, long time ago, when we selected tobacco, we selected based on these criteria: region, size of the leaf, thickness of the leaf, color of the leaf, thickness of the stem, and smell of tobacco. So initially, those 6 items were how we selected tobacco. And we always select tobacco ourselves. We don't do it to other people. We have experts that they take sample, they taste it. But tobacco configuration has changed recently, because for the past 2-3 years, the farmers have become really advanced in a way to increase their crops.
Right.
So they use nitrogen. They spray the plant with nitrogen. Their excuse is for nitrogen to kill Maya. Maya is a disease, mildew disease, at the base of the root. They say we have to use nitrogen to kill Maya. Well, they don't have to. There is other
Yeah, they
option.
don't.
But
Yeah.
nitrogen is cheaper. But the second reason, if you Google this, nitrogen makes the leaf thicker. In some cases, twice the thickness. And when the leaf is too thick, you cannot use it in ultra premium cigar, because
Right.
it cannot blend very well. It's too
Right.
harsh. You feel it down your throat, you know. So Thickness of the leaf has become very important factor. We choose it, that we have our own staff, we analyze it, we open every bushel. We took the sample leaf out, we smell it, we size it, we look at it. In some cases, we roll it instantly and we smoke it.
Right.
And based on that, we make what tobacco we should buy and what we shouldn't buy. There is a really science to it, you know, is what we call it, we don't call it farming. We call it precision farming. Use science in farming.
Yeah. And the science is
What about the genetics?
Today, the genetic technology, and I know much about genetic because we own a genetic development company in Germany. Today, the process of genetic mutation has improved so much. Literally, all of the seeds bought by major peer like El Septimo, Davidoff, Padron, Fonte. The seeds are genetically modified. They're Cuban seeds genetically modified, right? So the seed in most cases is very cohesive, consistent, and good. But a good seed is the starting point. After that, you have to do a lot of things in order to be able to make good tobacco. I'll give you a good example. A farmer in Dominican Republic called us today who's been making tobacco for a long time. And he said, Mr. Yonan, I think you should buy this harvest because the perfect harvest, right? When we looked at
JB, how's it going?
When we looked at his, he had a Zoom because we were talking on the computer. When we said zoom the plantation, we noticed his plant were 8 feet tall. We immediately said, we're not interested. We're not interested because he should have never let that plant go above 6 feet for the nutrition to go in the tobacco. Otherwise, you dilute the nutrition. Second, when the nicotina plant is too tall, the sun hits the upper level, second level, it doesn't go to the bottom where the important leaves are in the middle and the bottom.
And at the end. Yeah.
So at the end, you have a terrible tobacco. So just by looking at the height of his nicotina plant, we said, no, we're not interested. So there is a lot of technique. There is a lot of science that goes in picking the best harvest. And then there is a science in aging fermentation that we follow. That's why when you smoke a El Septimo, it's truly difficult to smoke anything else like it. You know, look at your ash.
Hey, Luke.
Look at your ash, right? Look at the color of your ash. Look how black it is. When I see an ash like that, I will immediately tell you you're smoking an ultra premium cigar. And you say, well, how can you tell from the ash? When the ash is gray or white, means tobacco is bad. When the ash is dark gray or black like yours, it means tobacco is full of mineral because mineral never burns and mineral always leaves black deposit.
And it also leaves a taste in your mouth. It also leaves that like a bitter taste that you could
bitter
taste.
Exactly.
And you don't get any bitterness. You get full, flavorful, and it's like very, like as I stated, floral, cocoa. It's very enjoying, and I'm actually drinking it with a red, sweet blended wine, which even enhances it even more.
Now, magnesium, which is a major mineral we like to see in the soil, and you only find it in the volcanic soil, magnesium. Magnesium leaves the most black deposits in it. So every time when you see, like sometimes I see people smoking cigar, and by looking at it, without looking at the label, without looking at anything, I said, I'm not going to smoke that. That's a bad cigar. And they said, why is that? I said, look at your ash. It's too white. It's too gray. It's got no flavor. It's a blah taste, right? So I'm glad we're talking about it because the people who are listening right now, because, you know, you spend a lot of money buying cigars. I mean, it's a big investment. And, you know, so
it's
you
an
need to know
expensive
how to check.
hobby.
Exactly.
Yeah. Real quick, it's 9:30. We do this every week on our show. We're part of Stogies for Servicemen. You guys can give them a DM, Stogies for Servicemen. What he does is puts packages together for servicemen and women all over the world. It doesn't matter where they're at. You can DM him if you have a service person in your family, get them on the list. Also, if you'd like just to make a small money contribution helps because shipping at
Yeah.
times, I mean, you're talking what, $1,200
Yeah.
a month it can come out to. Even if you got one or two cigars you'd like to donate towards the servicemen, we all appreciate it. I'm ex-military. It's a big deal, these guys getting packages when they're away from home. So it's an excellent cause. DM Stogies for Servicemen if you'd like to help out. Really
Matter of
good.
fact,
Also, every week.
we would like to send a big chunk of cigar for that cause because we really believe in it. If you Google Yona and Company, over the last 30 years, we have supported not only servicemen but their family for fallen soldiers. So this is a very dear, very dear.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because we're sitting here in this nice room, smoking, enjoying life. Someone had to pay with his life for us to be able to sit here, enjoy this.
Right.
And
Amen to that.
and I think is the most beautiful cause in the world. So thank you for doing it, and we will send a big box shipment for you guys to definitely do.
I'll
Thank
get
you.
Thank
Sean
you.
to reach out to
Also,
you.
yeah, we'll get Sean to reach out to you. Chris is on the board. I'm vice president. Sean is the president of it. This guy is doing awesome things. I can't say enough good things what he's doing. Also, real quick, we started, 2 months ago, month and a half, an after show. And we were thinking, well, anybody watching, we'll put a Zoom link out. If you guys are interested in the after show, DM me and just message me you'd like the Zoom link. I'll send it out to you. We end the show about 9 o'clock. We start the after show about 9:15. It goes all the way up until late. That's all I'm going to say. But it's a great time. A lot of different people from the cigar community hop on. We get to talk to each other, and it's truly a good time. So if you guys are interested, I'll throw it out again at the end of the show. But just DM me, Dr. Holden 72. I'll send you the link, and just stay tight. I'll get the link to you, and we'll fire it up. And it's a
I
good
don't
time.
know if he's in here, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these people know Wicked Cigar Club Manny. Tomorrow is his birthday, so could everybody wish Manny a happy birthday? And the Herf will be
Happy birthday,
celebrating
Manny.
his
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Yay.
Manny is part of the family, and has been and always will be. Manny's a super cool guy. He's normally the crazy one in the comments. That's all I'm going to say. But we love him. We're going to celebrate his birthday tonight. Plus, I think there's going to be even a little family herf this weekend. So that's what the community is about.
Yep.
Exactly. That's what this
So-
country is about.
So I
Yes.
understand that 4 out of 5 of your children also are invested in the company, and your daughter Alexandria, she is also does something with the cigar company. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's funny. As I've told you, we are in 57 different industries: oil and gas, manufacturing, hospitality, real estate, leisure, design, clothing manufacturing, watch manufacturing, and spirit, and also cigar. And I have 4 of my oldest kids. My youngest kid is still at university, plays basketball. I'm proud to say he's on Division I NCAA, plays basketball at Portland. But my
Awesome.
4 kids, my 4 kids that are graduated, they're working for me. And I have never seen these kids be interested on any of my company's product or services except the cigar and tobacco. It's amazing. Every night when we eat dinner, they talk about cigars, they talk about tobacco. And I mean, they all so involved. They love the industry so much, and they're so much into it, and they contribute so much into it. And I tell you, tobacco is a blessed leaf by God himself. And it has brought our family so much closer. I have a 31 years old child. Sometimes these guys are old enough, they don't want to sit down to the old father, have a 1 hour, 2 hours conversation. The best time I can get their attention when they all sit and listen to me is when we are smoking cigar together. For 2 hours, I have their undivided attention, and I love it.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
Question for you. I'm reading through, we're doing our homework for the show, and you have the Alexandra collection, which is blended for the palate of female cigar
it.
enthusiasts.
Let me tell you why.
Could you explain
Sure.
that?
You know, we make perfume and cologne for the past 15 years in Paris, right? So we have a lot of experience with the smell, right? There is a reason why there is cologne for men and perfume for women and eau de toilette for women. There is a reason for it. Because women, if you Google it, genetically, they have 50 to 60% more sensitive nose and more sensitive taste buds. That's the fact. 40 years ago, there wasn't a single woman sommelier in the world for wine. Not a single woman. Today, 58% of all the sommeliers in the world are women. Because they are blessed by God, they can tell the taste and the notes of cigar or the liquor far more accurately than we could. So, because they have such a sensitive nose, the cigar was always designed for men, right? So when a man smoking a cigar, because women have more sensitive capability, they would say, oh my God, such a strong smell. And the guy would say, but it's not. The woman said it is. Well, that was the reason why it was. So we said, how about if you make a cigar for women, which is Alexandra collection, it comes in cocoa and mainland, and we damper the smell and damper the taste notes slightly in order for women to be able to enjoy it. And the funny thing is, 60% of the customers that buy that collection are women, but 40% are men, because men, no matter how big you are, how strong you are, how many years you've been smoking a cigar, we always appreciate smoking a smooth cigar, balanced, smooth cigar, because it's just a perfect drive. It's like driving a Cadillac down the road, right? It's just a perfect, smooth drive, right? So those are the reasons, because of our experience, knowing the fact women have more sensitive taste capability, we had to design a cigar that was basically balanced for them.
Right. And it is very
So we're
smooth.
saying women can taste spirits better, taste the smoke a little better, and also it's proven fact, shoot a rifle from the green
I
better.
tell you something, my wife shoots.
What is going on?
We have a hunting lunch in France. I invite all of you to join me, and they have the craziest boars there. It takes me 5-6 shots to knock a boar down. My wife takes it down with single shots, always. And I
Can
tell
be
her,
one of the hardest
I
animals
said,
to
you want
kill.
to hunt? Go hunt on your own. Don't hunt with me. She said, why? I says, because I don't enjoy hunting with you, because you beat me all the time. And I'm too old to be beaten, so forget about it.
That's funny.
That is. So I understand that
Nice.
you're going to be buying a property in Champagne, France, to do champagne as well. Is that correct?
We are buying Chateau Davis, which is a famous champagne maker, from Louis Vuitton, LVMH.
Oh,
And we're closing that transaction in 3 months. So then we will also be producing champagne from the city of Champagne globally to the world.
very cool.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember, our company also has the largest collection of the restaurants in the world in Europe, where
No kidding.
yes, largest collection of restaurants in the world in Europe, and 30% of our restaurants are Michelin rated 1 or 2 or 3.
Oh, wow.
So because those type of clients come to taste special foods, we have to have a special liquor, and we want the liquor to be perfect, and we know how to make something perfect because we focus on it. We don't focus based on profitability. We focus on reaching a perfection, and that's why we take matters in our own hand. We're making our own vodka, our own champagne, our own gin, our own cognac. We're going to be introducing whiskey and scotch soon, a bourbon soon, because we want to make sure that because if our name goes on a product, it has to be good, because people expect that from us.
Yeah.
So, and at
Chris?
PCA,
Oh.
you said you had new lighters coming. What's in the way of cigars coming out for y'all?
Well, very good. On the PCA, a friend of mine, Franklin, came to me. He said, Zaya, I want you to design something to celebrate the rich history of African American, right? So I said, okay, I will do it, because he's a very good friend of mine. So I said, now, Typical cigar maker, he says, okay, I go take some leaf and blend them together and make a cigar, and I would name it something and I would sell it to that population. We went different. We says, okay, let's go to history to see how far back a African culture existed and what was the greatness about them from beginning of the time. From beginning of the time. I'm talking about 3,000 years ago, before birth of the Christ. And 3,000 years ago, 954 years BC, before birth of the Christ, there was a famous queen in Africa, in Ethiopia. But she had covered from Ethiopia to Yemen to Egypt. She had a big territory, right? Her name was Queen Sheba. A lot of you are not old enough to know. When we were young and some girl acts bougie or hard to get, we used to say, who the hell you think you are, Queen Sheba? Queen Sheba, at age of 24, she became empress because she conquered all the other African kings. She was known to be beautiful, extremely wealthy, extremely strong commander for military, right? When she learned that there is a king in Israel called King Solomon that was known to be wise, blessed by God, according to Bible and Old Testament, right? She said, I am gonna go see this guy. How could a guy could be better than me? I'm the best in the world. She was beautiful, gorgeous, charming, rich, strong. So she took 700 camels. She put on each close to 100 kilograms of gold, diamonds, emeralds, and she went all the way to Israel to meet King Solomon. When she met King Solomon, and he saw this beautiful black queen, he says, what do you have for me? She says, I have gold for you. I have diamond for you. I have emeralds for you. And he says, thank you, but I have all of that. I have gold, I have stone, I have all of that. What do you have so special? She didn't think about it. She thought he would be impressed with a lot of gold, diamonds, emerald, rubies. She says, I have something for you that you don't have in Israel and you never tasted. It was a special African spice. Remember, 950 years ago, salt wasn't even discovered. So when people used to eat food, it had no taste because there was no pepper, no salt, no nothing, right? When she put that spice on his food, he ate it. He was so impressed because food tasted so good. He fell in love with her. And King Solomon, king of Israel, married Queen Sheba. And they had a child together who became the greatest king of Africa. So when we made the cigar for Queen Sheba that we will introduce, we learned what that spice was, and we put that spice in our cigar.
That is awesome.
So Queen Sheba and PCA will be available for all of you to come, take it free, smoke it, and enjoy it.
Wow.
And so we are introducing Queen Sheba cigar to celebrate the rich, long culture of African American. And also 25% of all the proceeds will go to educate African American universities. So that is one product that we're going to introduce. We are also, we are creative, innovative, and we like to do crazy things. We're going to introduce 3 ashtrays. Each ashtrays would be worth $25 million. So people get to
each ashtray.
Each ashtrays.
Diamond.
Matter of fact, we're gonna let all of our visitors to de-ash their cigar in $25 million ashtray.
I'd be afraid.
We're gonna be.
Well, I will swing by and definitely do that when I come to PCA.
Right. Last year we introduced $5.5 million lighters, which we did it to show people stretch of our imagination, stretch of our creativity, how good we are in in taking the best of everything and combining them in one. All three lighters were sold 2 hours after the show opening.
Wow.
To a blind buyer.
Wow. No kidding.
But we're not hoping to sell this ashtray. We're hoping for you to enjoy, as a customer of El Septimo, to de-ash your cigar in a $25 million ashtray.
So, folks, what he's saying is you can be a baller. Just go see him, put your cigar out in a $25 million
And I will take
ashtray.
advantage.
Now,
I will take advantage
if you
and
guys
have it.
are willing, if you guys are willing to record yourself ashing in that ashtray and saying hi to Brianna from Pravada, you might win some.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, very true. Real quick, we normally split our show in half. Beginning of the half, we ask technical questions about the tobacco, where it's coming from, and we break the other half of the show into personal questions, so that we hope when we do an interview with somebody, you not only know the brand, but you kind of get to know the person behind it as well. You are an exception to that rule, because we could have you on for 2 or 3 shows, right? I mean, your wealth of knowledge and what you're doing is incredible. So I have a couple billionaire questions for you. Maybe these guys had some, if that's cool. So like they say, 2/3 of successful CEOs say they wake up at 6 a.m. or earlier. Are you part of the 2/3, or are you the 1/3?
I sleep. I unfortunately I love to sleep, but I can't sleep. I had the curse of not being able to sleep for many years ago. But I usually sleep at 1 a.m. and I wake up 4 a.m. every day.
So 4 a.m.
Oh, wow. You're a minimal
And
sleeper.
sometimes when I travel from country to country, I've been told that I never sleep. And the few snoozes I get is in the airplane or something. Sometimes I go from country to country and I just use the hotel to take a shower, change clothes, but I can't sleep. So, and the reason I can't sleep is because my mind is always occupied. I'm always thinking about things. And as I said, is a curse and also is a gift. So I haven't found the balance yet, but it is what it is. Right?
Gotcha. They also say most billionaires, the largest percentage of them, like classical music. What do you prefer in
I
music?
love classical music. It's funny you said that. 2 things help me to sleep at 1 o'clock. One, smoking cigar, and while I'm listening to classical music.
So
No kidding.
what is your favorite? Usually, what is your go-to for classical?
I mean, I love French, Italian, Spanish, classical music, right? The music that is just the music that touches you, feels you without the words, right? That it goes up and it goes down, right? It gets you tired by synchronizing the volume of the opera, right? That goes up and goes down. And my wife sometimes said, you know what? While you were sleeping, I took the cigar out of your mouth. So
good idea.
So next to my bed, there is an ashtray, right? So of course I smoke all day. And then after I brush my teeth, I try to sleep. I move around in the bed. I light a cigar, and then I sleep. So it is something that helps me a lot. Cigar helps you sleep because cigar calms you down.
Yeah.
A lot of you might not know. I don't know if you do know or not. For example, they say nicotine is bad for you. Now, I'm talking about natural nicotine. I'm not talking about cigarette, and I'm not talking about enhanced flavor cigars. I'm talking about natural raw nicotine. We basically take the nicotine from the nicotina plant, and we ferment it, we age it, and it goes to your mouth, right? A lot of you might not know that tomato, potato, green pepper, eggplant, cauliflower have exactly the same nicotine that is found in the cigar. Actually,
No kidding.
Actually, if you Google, does red tomato have nicotine? An average size tomato has 7.1 milligram of nicotine. And we put 12 to 13 milligram of nicotine in each cigar. So when you give your little kid French fries, tomato in their pasta, in their pizza, in their salad, I want you to know that you're giving that little kids a nicotine. But don't panic. It's good for them. It's been part of, well, tomato is good for you, right?
Right.
It's been part of our diet for millions of years. And they say cigar is addictive, nicotine is addictive. I smoke 8 to 10 in weekdays, 12 to 14 on the weekend. I don't want to, but I could go without smoking a cigar for a week or 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too.
Now, why does nicotine relaxes you? Why does it reduce stress? Why does it make you feel comfortable? There's a scientific reason for it. Natural nicotine dilates your artery. When it dilates your artery, because as you get older, your artery is a muscle. As you get older, your artery condense. Matter of fact, when you hit my age, the doctor always tells you take a baby aspirin because your arteries are dilated small. We want to make sure you get proper blood flow to your brain. You're going to get a stroke, right? Natural nicotine dilates your artery. And when you smoke a cigar, within 4 or 5 hours later, your arteries are dilated to twice the size they were naturally. And when they're dilated, there is more blood flow and oxygen to all part of your body.
Right.
And that's why you feel relaxed.
Yeah.
That's why you feel good.
So
Oh.
is that?
As a billionaire,
I was just
go ahead.
going to ask, for the bumper crops, usually they do potatoes, a crop that has like natural nicotine. Is that why they have those as bumper crops from the fields of the farmers?
Part of the reason.
Okay.
The other part of the reason, for example, we plant tomato on either side of our plantation. The reason for it is because the flavor, and we eat those tomatoes when we take cigars.
Right.
Yeah. When we go to plantation, we pick a tomato and we light a cigar, we eat the tomato and we smoke a cigar, right? But also when the diseases comes, we get to see it on tomato before it goes on it. So when we see a tomato changing color, we say, oh my God, there is a disease in the region. There is a disease in the area.
Okay.
Let's take some action. Let's take some action, right? Next time, take a tomato, one of those beef stroke tomatoes, the hard one, cut it, put some olive oil, put some salt and pepper on it, skip dinner, eat tomato and smoke cigar. It is the best pairing you ever had in your life.
Huh.
I got to try that. I'll try that. So as a billionaire, what is a habit that you have that most people around you don't know of?
Very common sense oriented person. Very common sense oriented person. I've been married for 33 years with my wife, right? And always people say,
For you, that's all.
and always people say, how is it for 33 years you're with the same wife? You know, I mean, do you guys get in an argument or anything? And I said, no, because in our family, we have educated ourselves to always listen to common sense, right? When you listen to common sense, you can't argue with common sense. Common sense is what it is. So sometimes when there's an argument, we say, you know what, honey, let's just Google it. Let's just research it. And once we research it, we said, okay, well, that's the answer. You know, and we kiss each other and we move on with our life. So common sense is something that I use a lot, right? And science, and a lot of you might not know, I developed airbag at the age of 22 when I was working for GM, right? So I developed the airbag, I developed the keyless entry system, RF radio frequency keyless entry system. I developed the VTS, variable temperature seat, the device in the seat that is called Peltier, that heats and cools the seats that you have in your car.
Thank you.
I developed PDS. I developed PDS, park distance control. I developed it 34 years ago. And today, in the last 2 years, is an automotive. After 32 years of invention.
Wow.
So something people don't know about me, I am very scientific, right? When I go to our plantation, before I look at anything, I stick my hand in the soil, I feel the soil, I smell the soil. In some cases, we put a small amount of soil in our mouth and we taste it.
I've seen that.
We taste the soil. Yeah. So science is another component that we use a lot that people don't do. And of course, I have a fairly simple life, right? What I focus in the world, I focus on my contribution and legacy. I much enjoy people know me not as a billionaire, but as someone who has done something good that we enjoy. That's truly the joy that I get in life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Real quick, folks, we're getting close to 9. If you're interested, we continue this show on in an after show. So DM me, Dr. Holden 72. I'll send you the link, and it's just a Zoom. We hop on. Everybody's welcome. Great conversation. Meet lots of folks in our cigar community. It's really one of the best parts of the night. I have a blast on those after shows. It's a good time. So please join us. And you're obviously welcome as well. I don't know what your schedule is, but we can send you the link, and if you're willing, you can. You're more than happy to hop on with us.
Thank you.
Chris?
Who was one of your biggest influences in the industry?
It's a good question because I think about those people often, right? The founder of Apple, right? I know him very well because before he passed away, long time ago, I sold him 2 companies, software development company. One was a software development for voice interactive, voice independent recognition technology, which we developed. We sold it to him for $680 million. And Steve Jobs has always been, I met him numerous times. And every time I met him, I was so impressed, enjoy our conversation, extremely intelligent, extremely scientific, extremely marketing guy, you know? A guy like that influenced me a lot throughout my life, right? And he was a great guy, very smart guy. Elon Musk is another guy that I very much get influenced by him. Look, I was in automotive industry. Automotive industry is about 120 some years old, right? This guy came in, within 5 years, developed a car that we in 120 years we couldn't make. Extremely smart, extremely bright. I enjoy talking to extremely smart, extremely bright, because at the end, I hope I could learn a few things from them. Knowledge is the most valuable asset. Right. The more you know about it, the more you realize you need more of it. Even in cigar, I'm still working very hard to create a world most perfect cigar. And I'm hoping before I retire or I die, I will develop that one cigar that unanimously, no matter who, no matter where in the world, people put it in their mouth, they say, this is the best cigars I have ever smoked. By the way, in Rob's report, on the latest issue, June issue, they rated Van Gogh, part of the Sacred Art Collection, best of the best of 2023.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Very good.
Anybody who's going to do it, it is going to be you. I'm going to say that for the
I
perfect
hope,
cigar.
you know, the funny thing, we're cursed, you know? When something comes in our head, when we think of something, and we can't translate it into a product, we don't enjoy food, we don't enjoy our house, we don't enjoy our car, we don't enjoy our wealth, we don't enjoy our watches. We're constantly thinking about that, and we constantly say, man, I gotta get this thing out of my mind, and prevent you from sleeping, prevent you from eating, prevent you from doing anything. I'm telling you, it is a curse, you know? Like somebody told me, you know, you curse that you have a common sense. I said, why is that? Because you have to deal with some of the people that have none of it, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, it's a part of your character, right? You can't do much about it.
Last question. This is an easy one, just for people wondering what a billionaire cigar maker is doing. What are your plans this weekend?
This weekend, I am flying in Santo Domingo. We are opening up a lounge in Santo Domingo, DR, which is going to be, we purchased the villa, big house, and we are converting all of the villa into a cigar lounge.
Very nice.
It's got 15 bedrooms, so it's going to have 15 different private areas that people can go, right?
Very cool.
It's got dining room that you could be eating steak and pasta and smoking cigar, right? It's got swimming pool that you can swim and smoke a cigar. right? So you can do everything in one place, one structure. Because what we are trying to focus right now, we're trying to improve retailing of cigars. We're trying to create environment that you say, you know what, I'm going to fly all the way to that country, just experience smoking cigar 2 days in that specific lounge, rather than just a room with bunch of chairs and bunch of cigars, right? We're trying to evolve. We're trying to elevate the experience of enjoying the cigar.
That is
So
awesome.
I've been thinking about you in Santo Domingo.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Hey, we truly thank you for your time. I know you have a busy lifestyle, so I can't thank you enough for this. Been looking forward to it. Everybody, join us on the after show. We're getting ready to bounce off. Thank you. Check us out next Thursday. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys.
One more
Period.
thing I want
So
to tell
we thank
you.
the community.
Don't listen to anybody that says cigar is bad for you. Ask George
Not,
Burns. He outlived all of his
Right?
doctors, right?
yes, right.
Smoke cigar wherever you want. I smoke cigar in my house. I smoke cigar wherever I go. When I go to a restaurant, I said, look, I'll come to your restaurant, eat, but I'm going to smoke a cigar. If that's not acceptable, I'll go to a different restaurant, right? This is part of my life, and I'm not going to let anybody take it away from me.
Love
Good for
it.
you.
Awesome.
Good for you. Yep. So,
Thank
all
you
right,
so
guys. Thank you very much for joining us
Thank
this
you.
week. We'll catch you next Thursday. And again, thank you for your
Thank you
time.
so much.
Awesome
Love you
interview.
all.
Thank you.
Get it El Septimo and enjoy it.
Thank
Thank
you.
There you go.
you.
Thank you so much,
Have a
guys.
great evening,
Thank you.
guys.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.